Broadcasting from the beautiful Great Lakes state of Michigan, I'm Tom Bartholomew, your host of the Michigan Contractor Show. And I worked in the construction industry for over 25 years. I started on a job site when I was 14, working for my dad on a vinyl siding job. Now I spend all my time running a digital marketing agency where I help contractors and companies in the skilled trade promote their business and reach customers in ways they never thought possible. Again, my name is Tom, and let's get to today's guest. My guest today founded his company in October of 2013. He started this business after careful consideration of other mosquito-controlled companies in the area. Other mosquito franchises and local mom-and-pop businesses were providing a service, but it was not up to what is now the Mosquito One standard. I want to welcome my guest today, Frank Szewczyk. Thanks for joining me today, Frank.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on the show, Frank. So, Frank, tell me how you got into the mosquito business and started Mosquito One.
Well, back in 2012, I'm a corporate guy. I was working for a large corporate company in various positions. There was a management change in the U.S. At the top levels, and it just didn't seem that it was going to be a good fit for me. So I started looking around to buy a franchise of one type or another, basically buy myself a job. And there were a few things I didn't want to do. I didn't want a turnkey operation, reporting into a strip mall every day and let's say making pizzas or something like that. There was a lot of opportunities for baby boomers because we're all getting a little older here. And I didn't really want to do that type of work as well. So I'm searching around through some of the franchise portals and I run across these mosquito companies, basically coming out of the Southwest and Southeast. They really hadn't made their way too much into the Midwest yet. So I interviewed with about 4 different companies and I picked one. And in the meantime, I started training. I was going up to the Mosquito Control Michigan Association in Bay City, talking to some vendors, working with MSU through the agricultural department. And I then received my franchise agreement. Fortunately, I'm in Detroit. And because Detroit is so big with franchises, there's a lot of franchise attorneys at Domino Farms. So I found one and flipped the franchise agreement to them. And Barbara Kramer was her name, by the way. She reviewed it and called me and said I wouldn't sign this for various reasons that I really don't need to get into. At that point, I got a little depressed over it all, but then I started thinking about it. With all the education that I went through, I said, look, I could do this on my own. So I elected to do that, and we incorporated in 2013. One of the things I'd like to let everyone know is that when you're starting a company from scratch, the best thing to do is to make sure that the portal, the website domain is available before you name the company. Because if you name a company and then you go in to get the domain and the domain's taken, what do you do at that point? So I started looking around and I went through a ton of different names and they were all taken. And one night I was in bed and I'm thinking, I come out of the international logistics, freight forwarding business. And we did business with a company in Detroit called Load One. So it hit me, Load One, Capital One, Charter One, Mosquito One. I said, okay, that sounds good. Went downstairs, looked it up. It was available, snatched it. And while I was there, I said, well, let me see if Mosquito One with the number is available, which it was. So I snatched that as well. So we became Mosquito One. And we launched our first season in 2014. Because it was fairly new in Michigan and in the Midwest, there was a lot of skepticism. Will this actually work? And we guaranteed business. And we just started from there and we started growing. We had a very good first year, second year, and we've grown every year since, except for 2020 because of the COVID situation. We were flat. We were considered essential. So we did run because of the diseases that ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes bring. And we survived it. And now we're getting ready to launch for 2021. So that's basically how it all come about. I took the best practices from the 4 different franchise companies that I interviewed with and put them into one when I launched Mosquito One. So we did a few things differently. I went to the Department of Ag, and they agreed that we could go paperless. The only issue was we had to be sure that the customer agreed to an electronic copy versus a paper copy, and they would not allow us to hide that in the terms and conditions. So when they go in to place an order in the portal, they have to check a box that says that they agreed to take an electronic copy over a paper copy, which 99.9% of the people agree this is what we want to do. Let's not kill another tree. So that's how that all come about.
Wow, what a great story of trying to look into a business opportunity and franchises, talking with somebody that's an expert in that, and they say, this isn't really a good deal for you, a better deal for someone else, kind of put you back at square one. Oh, what am I going to do now? Hey, I'm going to do this myself. You're a smart guy. Yeah. You started it. You got it going. I think what a great story of, kind of battling adversity, going from, getting out of the corporate world and trying to find this. What a great story. So you were talking about, well, first of all, where are you located?
We started in Belleville. I needed to get out of the house. This business, you could actually run from your driveway if you're small. But I needed to get out of the house. I'm the kind of guy, I can't work from home. I mean, what I'm doing now is driving me crazy with this COVID thing. But I'm a guy that has to get up every morning, drink my coffee, get in the car, go to work. So I found a office in Belleville. It's the old Century 21 building, right in downtown Belleville. And he had an extra office available. So I was working out of there, and he had room in the back for trucks. And as we grew, we just started parking the trucks in the back. At that point, he was looking to sell his business, and we needed to get out of there. We were growing too much. So we ended up purchasing a home in Ypsilanti in a, not corporate area, but where stores and things are. I'm drawing a blank.
Commercial.
Yeah, commercial area. And we bought a little property and fixed it up with a lot of land, and we run the business out of there. So the business is in the Ypsilanti Township off of Whitaker Road is where we run now. I want to get back and just make a comment to the viewers. If you're looking to buy a franchise, and I have nothing against them whatsoever of purchasing that, in a lot of cases, they're extremely successful. But what I would suggest you do is spend the money and hire on a franchise attorney, not a regular attorney. They do not understand the franchise business. And if you're in Detroit, you've got a gold mine there, because you probably have 100 attorneys that get involved in franchises in the Detroit area.
I think that's great advice for somebody I would have never thought to get somebody specialized attorney like that. I would have maybe just talked to my regular one if I was looking into that. So that's great advice. I think for anyone, right? Yeah, absolutely. So you're in Ypsilanti is where your office is located now. How wide of a service area do you cover? Like I'm in northern Michigan. Obviously, you're not going to come to my house up here north of Manistee. So what is your service area?
No, not unless you're a really good friend. You were offering me something to come up in. We service 6 counties in southeast Michigan: Wayne, Washtenaw, Monroe, Macomb, Livingston, and Oakland. We did run in Ohio, the GTA, the greater Toledo area, I think Lucas and Wood counties, but we decided to pull it out of there for various reasons. And so these are the 6 counties that we do business in.
Okay, great. So you guys kill mosquitoes, obviously, Mosquito One. What other kind of, what if I don't have a big mosquito problem? It's been very dry. I make sure I don't have any water left out, right? Because that's where they breed. that lay their eggs. What's that? And I've been very diligent in that, but I have ticks. Can you take
Right.
care of ticks?
Well, we could, but we're not licensed for it. So we will not come out there for a tick problem or a flea problem or an ant problem. However, when we apply for mosquitoes, the product that is in there will also kill the ticks, the fleas, the ants as well. So you get extra benefits from uh, hiring us on to kill the mosquitoes. But in order to come out there strictly for that, we would have to be licensed for that, which we are not, and we have no intentions of doing that. We specialize in mosquitoes. That's our business. And we don't want to, we thought of expanding in other areas, but we decided not to do that. We specialize in this. This is what we do. This is what we focus on. And because of that, we believe we're one of the best out there in Southeast Michigan.
Excellent. I love that. I'm a big proponent of niching down, and that's exactly what you've done. We don't do the other. We kill mosquitoes. Now our product might have an effect on the ants, the ticks, whatever, but we kill mosquitoes, right? In fact, I think there's a commercial that probably a lot of people would recognize you from. Can you tell me about that commercial?
Well, yeah, it'll be running soon. Actually, we'll be running that on a few of the stations and a few of the markets in April, May. It's at Mosquito One, we kill mosquitoes. And that's just 30 seconds letting you know that this is what we do. How it all come about, and it's a pretty funny commercial. It's humorous, but it definitely gets the point across. And I was living in Charleston, South Carolina, and there was a company down there called Charleston Crab House. And the commercial, it was a radio commercial, it said, at Charleston Crab House, we have crabs, blue crabs, snow crabs, king crabs, crab legs, crab cakes. At Charleston Crab House, we have crabs, with a very weird voice. So I took that and I adapted it to, at Mosquito One, we kill mosquitoes, big mosquitoes, small mosquitoes, medium mosquitoes, and female mosquitoes, male mosquitoes, so forth and so on. And so I had Eric, my director of operations, film me doing a draft of it. And then we took that, we sent it to an individual who then put the commercial together. And I went in front of a green screen and we launched it. And we get a lot of compliments both ways. Some say it's irritating, which is also a good thing because they remember it. And then others call and say, we really like that commercial. So it goes well.
Yeah, I was actually able to find it. I don't remember if I found it on your website or on YouTube, but I did watch it, and you're right, it is very memorable. Whether people find it annoying or not, I think that's kind of the point. Is
right?
You have to. You can't. If you would have just stood there and be like, "Hey, we killed mosquitoes," that wouldn't have been as exciting and as memorable. So I really liked that commercial as well. I thought it was great, and I wanted to ask you about that. So it's gonna be on the airwaves on some TV coming up. Is that what you were saying?
That is, well, TV and radio actually.
Okay.
The voice will be on radio. We run on the ticket 97.1. So we'll be running them on there, the voice on there, and then we do commercials on through Comcast Spotlight, or now they're called Event TV or something like that. But we will run those, and we'll pick what stations we want to run them on, what times we want to run them, and what parts of the 6 counties we want to run in. It's very cost effective doing that, by the way. So,
well, that brings me to my next question, I guess, is when I talk to a lot of contractors, and the way it's kind of been going is the digital age, right? People are getting online, advertising on the social channels and Google and websites, and that's what I help contractors with, right? Is their marketing. But what you're saying is you kind of went back to kind of old school almost, as you went to TV and radio. Now, is that really cost effective? Like, how is that cost effective today?
Well,
how did you make it cost effective?
Well, I find it a lot less expensive than doing digital. I mean, digital is, if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to cost you. It costs. There's no question. And we have the bigger guys like True Green, who also launched about 3 years ago and started doing mosquito control. You've got your Terminex and your Orkin. We don't have that type of budget. So for us, it was, do we go up against that in the digital age, or do we go back into more of a print media, radio, print, TV? And this is what we elected to do. So as it relates to TV, now we don't advertise on the major local stations, the ABC, NBC, CBS, the local news channels. It's way too expensive to do that for us. However, Comcast has a deal where you can actually define what markets you want to advertise in. Let's say we want to do Ypsilanti, Romulus, Canton, and part of Ann Arbor. So we can target that. We can target what stations we want to be on. Like, let's say we want to be on Bravo, TLC, HGTV, DIY, and maybe your major 24-hour stations like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, that type of thing. So that's where we focus. And because of that, we're zeroing in. It's very cost effective to do that. Having a commercial shot in the Detroit market from an independent company is not that expensive. In this case, we have two. We've shot. One is Don't Spend Your Summer Stuck in a Tent. They'll run as well. And then We Kill Mosquitoes is the other. Radio as well. Now, you just can't shotgun it. I mean, I sat down. We have a very good sales rep at 97.1 The Ticket. And we went in and figured, okay, our audience is pretty much, let's say 40 and over, primarily 50 to 70, I would think would be our biggest target. So we went in and looked at what are the demographics, what do they listen to, when do they listen to it, and when would be the best time to advertise. So we're not there every day. We've got specific times and days that we target. And that works for us. And because of that, it's a lot less expensive than if you took a shotgun approach, let's say. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tom. As far as print, again, the same thing applies. I mean, you've got various territories in print. There's two major, let's say three, but two up in our area, two major print magazines that come out on a monthly basis. And then there's one that's a lot smaller, but it targets the garden industry, and this is what we do there. So everything is very targeted. I listen to I like working with seasoned reps that've been around for a while because they understand their business, and that helps us when we go negotiate the deals and put the packages together.
Excellent. So I think that's great advice for any type of contractor that wants to, try to expand their advertising reach other than just digital marketing. And, I like what you said, that the digital marketing can be pricey if you don't know what you're doing. Right. And I'm sure that even on the flip side, even radio or TV can be pricey if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not with those seasoned people or whatnot. Now, you said something there, and when we talked before, you also said something which I thought was a great tip that I never heard before, is you were talking about like negotiating with them, negotiating the price and stuff like that. How does that work? You can negotiate for TV spots?
Well, yes. I mean, you can, you just, if they want your business and the price isn't right, you just tell them no. But when you say no, you have to mean no. And a lot of times they'll come back, or they'll throw in some incentives, things along those lines. And you have competition. So it isn't like I was just dealing with 97.1 The Ticket. I mean, I had a couple of stations I went in. So you want to have various competitors in the mix, because that helps also as well. Do I have the best deal in town? No. I mean, how could that happen? I'm a small company, but for what we do, and I believe we've done well. I mean, I come out of the corporate world, so I'm a P&L guy, and I'm looking at the P&L. We're negotiating everything in October. We put the P&L together for the following year in September, October. So we have to meet with the vendors then to go through everything for the following year, because we have a budget we have to put together. We have targets that we have to meet as it relates to sales. And we have to stick to that. And I've just, it's built inside of me because of coming out of the corporate world for 40 years. This is the way to do the business. And I tell you, when I meet with a lot of these vendors through print, and when they sit down and we start talking, they go, "Man, you're different," because I'm one of them, basically, at the end of the day, And I'm very disciplined that way. And you have to be very disciplined if you're running a business. You have to know when to say no and mean it. You have to be able to manage your customers and not have your customers manage you. Because if not, they're going to move you in a million directions, and then you're going to fail because you're going to have constant shortcomings. You got to set limits and boundaries along those lines. And again, I adapted all this out of the corporate world that I used to be in. So
I think that advice is priceless. I think that you knew that you could negotiate with them, for TV and radio ads because you came from that world. Like you said, you were one of them. You were a P&L guy. You knew, that's what you said no. You were talking to a few others. But I don't think, a builder, a contractor, someone like myself, unless I have an advisor that is telling me this stuff, I wouldn't have known that. So right. Maybe somebody listening, they're going to meet with their TV executive tomorrow to work on some commercials. Maybe they know now that, don't take that first price. Make sure you're talking to a couple different stations or media outlets. So you can say, well, I'm talking over here and they're going to give me X, right? Would you recommend doing something like that?
Yes. And also, I'm up front with them. I'll just turn the P&L around to them, or the projections, and say, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I have. And look at it. I mean, this is what it is. It's not pie in the sky stuff. Here's my number. So help me design a package around this number to where it's to where it's worthwhile. The other thing is, advertising companies have no real guarantees. They'll tell you that, your return on investment, your ROI is this, but show me that, okay, I've spent $5,000 and I should be getting back like $15,000 in business, as an example. Show me that. They can't show you that, so you just, in some cases, you just got to use your gut. And if it doesn't work, you just say, okay, we tried, it doesn't work. We're not going to do it next year. And you move on with your life. I take risks. My employees will tell you there are times where I take risks, calculated risks, and sometimes they pan out and sometimes they don't. And when they don't, you dust yourself up, you get up, you start over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely correct, Frank. I love that information about negotiating. When we talked the first time, I asked, because I took that and I was like, wow. And I asked some other people, some of my business associates, and they said, oh, I didn't know that. So I think that that's really something that, you might even take for granted that you knew that I don't think a lot of contractors or people in the skilled trade realize that they can do that. So you kind of took your marketing budget. You said, hey, this is what I got to spend. Here it is.
Right.
Help me reach that. I want to work with you. Help me reach that. So what great advice. I love that so much. So you kill mosquitoes. You're down in the Detroit metro area serving the 6 counties that you mentioned earlier. You come in, you kill mosquitoes. Yes. It might kill some other pests, but you're there to kill mosquitoes. Big mosquitoes, little mosquitoes, boy, girls, medium ones, all of them. Yes. Oh, that's good, because I don't want any size mosquito around my house. That's for sure.
Right.
Yes.
And one of the things that we've learned through the years is the mosquito population changes from year to year. It's like growing corn. All crops change every year. The environment changes. Some years the water tables are high. It's not as bad. Other years the water tables drop. And I don't, about mosquitoes, we've learned this over the years is, eggs can sit dormant for years before they hatch. So sometimes they're sitting there and they're not hatching. And then when the water levels are up and then they drop, all these mosquitoes start hatching. So you have this humongous year to where you're trying to get control of them. And some years are tougher than others as far as that. We're not manufacturing a widget here, right? We're going in and we're looking at it as best that we can. We're looking at the weather. I mean, we're looking at weather maps all the time. Do we run? Do we not run? We don't want to run in the rain. But every year is a different year. You don't know what it's bringing. Some years are a lot easier than others. Some years we're out there and we're respraying, just trying to get a handle on things. Some years it's really easy. We get control from the beginning and we just move on. So it isn't as if, you're making a widget that's defined every year. Every year is going to be a little different. You just have to roll. And the nice thing is, with the experience we've had over the last 7 years, we have a pretty good handle and we can react and turn to ship. And another reason, because we're small and we're local, because the larger guys, they're making decisions based in Virginia Beach or in Richmond or in Texas. They're making decisions for the whole country. Well, things are a little different in Southeast Michigan than they are in Dallas, Texas. So we can, we're small, we're like a speedboat, and we can change directions pretty quickly. Actually, we had to do it last year, and we were excellent. Within 2 days, we had changed complete directions on what we're going to do, complete directions on the formula, and we got a handle on it. And, so that sets us apart in some cases from the competition along those lines. Because we're local, we're locally owned, we're not a franchise, we're not affiliated with anyone. And we control our Southeast market.
Awesome. I think that's a great thing to think about, because when you hire, even like when you were looking into the some sort of a franchise, those guys, like you said, they're in Virginia Beach in Texas, somewhere in their corporate headquarters,
right?
And they don't even know what the environment is in Michigan, but yet they're still making those decisions. Whereas you are here, you're in Michigan, you're seeing the weather, you're knowing what the water levels and tables are, and all of that. So I think that's great. What a great thing to know. Be local. I think people should definitely go local as much as possible. Well, other than finding you at mosquitoone.com, what else would you like to tell the people about your company?
Well, we have mosquitocontrol.com, by the way, as well. That is us. We landed that domain. I landed that domain at the beginning. It was a gentleman that owned it that was having some financial difficulties, and we negotiated the deal, and I purchased it from him. So we do have mosquitocontrol.com, which helps us out tremendously on the SEO to where we organically will show up. I just checked. I was out of town and I looked and I typed in Mosquito Control Michigan. We come up on the second page, but I was out of town. But typically in the summer months, we come up on the first page because of mosquitocontrol.com. Give us a try. I mean, we pretty much sell seasonal packages. We'll do single applications, but only for such things as events, like a graduation party, maybe a reunion of some sort, corporate events, things along those lines. But primarily on the residential side of the business, we sell packages, summer packages, 6 applications, 7 applications, 8 applications, depending on what the customer's needs are. And pricing is dictated through size of lots, half acre, acre and a half, 2 acre, that type of thing. And we do guarantee the service. So the way that works is we'll come out, we spray. And if you see them, give it a couple of days for it to take effect and kill the colonies. And if you have an issue, we'll come back out and we'll respray. If you have an issue after that, then we will just refund you, and we all move on with our lives if that's what you want us to do. That's kind of how we operate and work. So it's risk-free to do business with us. Go to the portal, sign up now for the 2021 season, go in, pick the package, put the order in as if you're buying a pair of shoes. Then at that point, you get a confirmation receipt, and then we move you onto the scheduling system and we schedule you for the season. That's how it works.
Awesome. So very easy to sign up. They can just go to mosquitoone.com, either with a one or writing one out, the word, or mosquito control. They can sign up for their sessions and you guarantee it. So So, like you said, risk-free. If you're having a mosquito problem, get a hold of Frank and Mosquito One, and you know, if it doesn't work in the first application, you'll come back. If it still doesn't work, hey, we'll part ways. Here's your money.
Right. And the idea
risk-free.
The advantages of this and what customers love about it is you don't have to be home. Right. We take care of this now these days, last year everybody was home, but you typically, most people at work, you don't have to be home when we do this. We send you an email that we're coming. We send you an email when we finished. And if you have any issues and you basically have paid us. So a lot of customers go, okay, I've taken care of this for the season. I'm done, right? Yeah, great. I got too many other things to do. You're going to handle it from here? Yes. If you have an issue, call or send us an email. Other than that, we don't have to hear from you for the whole season. And it's no paper. Everything is through PDFs. And customers love it. They just love doing business that way. Everybody's got enough on their plate these days.
I agree. Let's keep the wasting of the paper to someone else. Well, that's great, Frank. Thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody can find you at Mosquito One, like we said many times. You're having problems if you're down in the 6 counties that Frank mentioned in the Metro Detroit area, give them a call, give them a tryout. Maybe you're unhappy with your other provider, and the best thing, I still think the best piece of advice you gave is that you can negotiate with your advertisers. Just have a plan when you go in. I think that is priceless for them.
Yeah. And have a budget. This is what I've got. Can we work it out?
Got to know your numbers. Yep.
Right. You need to know your numbers. Very important.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. It was wonderful having you on the show and talking with you today. And I hope you have a great summer and continue to see your numbers grow.
Great. And if you ever get down to our area, please reach out and look us up.
Yeah, absolutely. I sure will. Everybody else, check out Frank. If you like this show, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you're notified. We're putting out new episodes every Tuesday, and we'd love to have you join us with those. Again, thank you so much, Frank. Check out him at mosquitoone.com.
Thank you, Tom.
If you would like to be a guest on this show, go to michigancontractorshow.com, and you'll find a form. Fill it out. I'll reach back out to you, and we'll see if you're a good fit for this show. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on Tuesday.